A god, a being of immense power, imposing their laws upon the world, manipulating reality to achieve their goals. Some gods create humanity with a special purpose within a divine plan, to love each and every one of them unconditionally and punish those who sin. Some gods, like those who exist in Greek and Norse mythology, are not depicted as perfect beings, but rather as powerful and often flawed entities with human-like qualities, including jealousy, love, anger, and what if there was a god who was born with an immense amount of narcissism? What if this god hated humanity so much that he wanted to create a universe where they were truly alone? Every thought, voice, dream snuffed out by one selfish entity seeking solitude. Well, meet Hajun, the main antagonist of the Shinza Bansho series. In the world of Shinza Bansho, there are two distinct types of gods: Hado gods and transcendent gods. Transcendent gods have the ability to shape the reality within themselves, imposing their will on anyone they come in contact with. They exist as living entities whose internal laws hold great power, allowing them to control the lives and fates of those around them. Hado gods, on the other hand, create laws that govern the entire universe. These laws become absolute and shape the very fabric of existence, allowing even the most impossible things to become reality. Hado gods are essentially the embodiment of the universe itself, constantly expanding to encompass all of creation. For example, one Hado god's law, known as dualist truth of good and evil, divides all life into two opposing sides, locked in eternal conflict. Another god's law, known as myriad dawns, dictates that souls are reincarnated in a heaven that aligns with their lives' actions. Yet, another god's law creates a cycle of rebirth. Every individual is condemned to relive their lives over and over again. These laws are born from a god's cravings. Longings that once unfulfilled grow into a powerful force, whether it's thirst, a hunger, or a prayer. These cravings are channeled into laws, which then merge with the throne to become reality. The throne itself is a mysterious and transcendent space, existing above all of creation and devoid of time as we know it. It acts as a center of the past, present, and future, and an infinite number of parallel worlds. Every god strives to sit upon this throne, and those who succeed in claiming it impose their laws upon the universe. But the throne is not a physical seat, it is a higher dimensional space beyond comprehension. One such god who sat upon the throne is Hajun, a Hado god infamous for being one of the worst to obtain this power. He is a narcissistic and self-absorbed being who despises everything in the universe, even ignoring those who cross his path, such as Ren Fuji, simply because he was too consumed by his own egotism to notice others. Because of this ego, Hajun's overwhelming desire is to be utterly alone. He views the universe as his body, where everyone else is a mere irritant, like insects buzzing around him. The idea of relationships and connections between others is utterly foreign to him, and he mocks the very concept of companionship. But what led to Hajun's transformation into such a being? Over 8,000 years ago, during the era of the Fifth Heaven, a cult known as Samsara Vartan tried to replace their god with a new one. They found a boy who seemed to be unresponsive to the world, and they gave him the divine title of Hajun. They mummified him alive and sealed him within a tomb where no light could enter. But Hajun was unfazed. The boy already did not care for the world and only craved solitude. The cult had underestimated his internal strength. But there was something else, a nagging presence, a twin brother within him, known as a tumor. This lingering sensation irritated Hajun as he underwent divine ascension. Convinced that the presence of his twin brother was a touch of the Fifth Heaven, Hajun seized the throne with violent fury. He destroyed anyone in his path, including Mari and Reinhard Heydrich. From that moment on, he sought to enforce his law and achieve ultimate isolation. Hajun's law forces all living beings to be consumed by absolute narcissism. It makes them believe that they are alone and the only true existence, pushing them to kill one another in relentless frenzy. This law would quickly lead to the extinction of all life, with Hajun remaining as a sole survivor. This would evolve into a wave of destruction that spreads to destroy everything. However, his plans were interrupted by Ren Fuji, who halted time in a large area known as Edo, preventing Hajun from realizing his total dominion. However, in the majority of the world, Hajun's influence was still felt. This isn't even remotely the only ability Hajun has. Hajun's power comes from a singular, overwhelming craving, his desire for complete isolation. This craving, so pure and unconflicted, has grown so immense that it surpasses the strength of even the most powerful gods, such as Reinhard. He doesn't rely on any complex techniques or abilities. Instead, he draws on the sheer power that stems from his unyielding desire to be alone and obliterate all of existence. This single-minded hunger birthed his unique and terrifying transcendent physiology, a form of being that transcends ordinary limits. Because of this transcendence, Hajun's strength is not diminished even as souls in the universe fade away. Unlike other gods, whose power can be weakened by the passage of time and the destruction of life, Hajun remains unaffected. This could be attributed to the presence of the tumor, the lingering consciousness of his twin brother, who he absorbed in the womb before birth. The tumor's existence is a constant reminder of Hajun's inability to fully embrace solitude. It triggers phantom sensations that cannot be fully understood or eliminated. Though Hajun craves absolute solitude, the tumor prevents him from achieving this. Its presence gnaws at his consciousness, pushing him to further his desire to erase anything that disturbs his isolation. This paradox only intensifies his craving, causing it to grow stronger over time. The more he tries to eliminate what he can identify, the more his power swells, feeding into an infinite loop of increasing strength. As a god, Hajun possesses a third eye, or heavenly eye. This power grants Hajun the ability to perceive future possibilities and understand higher planes of existence, a level of insight unparalleled by any other god. This vision allows him to see beyond the present, to grasp what might come, and comprehend realities far beyond the reach of most. In terms of foresight and awareness, no other god comes close to his abilities. However, for someone like Hajun, whose obsession is solely with himself, this gift holds very little value. He is indifferent to the potential knowledge it provides, seeing no personal benefit in such insights. In addition to his unique powers, as a god who sits upon the throne, Hajun can access the laws of the previous Hado gods. These laws, once written in the throne's records, are at his disposal. However, despite being able to use these laws, they are no longer as potent as they were in their original forms. The power of these past laws is diluted when channeled through Hajun, offering only a fraction of their former strength. Even with this limitation, the mere fact that he can wield such laws adds to his already overwhelming power. Yet, because of his narcissistic nature, he hardly sees any worth in using these abilities to their fullest, preferring instead to rely on his own raw power. However, here's a list of some of the laws Hajun has access to. An ability that punishes those who indulge in their desires by being consumed by them. It summons hordes of locusts, representing the embodiment of starvation, that spring forth within the victim, relentlessly pursuing them. This law punishes sinners by turning them into pillars of salt. This is a law that creates a supermassive black hole. The black hole consumes everything in its gravitational pull, drawing in matter and light with insatiable hunger. The law of Mugen comes from the desires of Ren Fuji, whose wish was, I want to enjoy this moment forever. This law creates a universe where time is suspended, freezing all of creation in place. Nothing can change or move, and enemies are trapped in unyielding stasis. Finally, the guillotine curse is a deadly law that summons a massive blade of decapitation. This blade falls with unstoppable force, severing the head of its target from its body. Hajun's existence challenges everything we know about the gods and their role in the universe, where many gods are defined by their relationship to creation, compassion, or justice. Hajun is the embodiment of pure isolation, driven by an unrelenting desire to exist alone. Hajun has become a tragic and terrifying figure, one whose power is boundless, yet forever trapped by the emptiness of his own desires.